I've spent the last 5 years figuring out exactly how to make a living with my creative passion through trial and error and a lot of wasted time. And if I had to start over today, I'm confident that I could do it in a fraction of the time. That's why I put together this free 30-minute training video breaking down the exact system that I use to run my business and how I help other creative people do the exact same. So you don't have to waste years making the exact same mistakes I did. If you are a creative and you want to skip the trial and error and start making real money online, this video is going to be everything I wish I had handed to me when I first started. So I want to start this video off by shifting your attention away from what a typical creator has in mind when they think of making money off of their creativity. Typically, creatives in any niche do something called work for hire. Basically, this is when somebody pays you X amount of money to do some sort of work for them, where they're instructing you and they are paying you for your time and skill. If you're an artist, you're painting a painting for someone. If you're a video editor, you're editing a music video or a trailer or a YouTube video, whatever that may be. If you're a musician, you're producing tracks or you're ghostwriting. And I'm just going to be completely honest, this type of work sucks in every single way possible. It takes up so much of your time. You do not get to create in your own vision. And usually the people are super rude, snobby, or overbearing during the entire process. And honestly, it is just not ideal. As a creative myself, this is where I first started making most of my money, and I really just hated it. And I'm sure you could probably relate. But what if I told you there's a way to be a creative where you get to create in your own vision, be yourself, and make 2, 3, 4, 5x or more money than work for hire, and you can even make money without working? This is where selling digital products comes in. Now, I really don't want you to click off this video here. A lot of creative people hear the word selling or products or business and their brain immediately turns off, but do not worry. I'm going to explain all of this for you in the simplest, most understandable terms. E-commerce looks a lot different than a typical business. There's no cost of entry. You don't exist to serve other people. And honestly, most of the time, it's just really fun. And trust me, I'm going to show you how to execute all of these steps in just a minute. I just really want to be able to break down any doubts that you might have about selling digital products before we move on. And like I said, I've been there. I remember when I first got into music, which is my creative expression of choice. I just thought I would get rich by making really famous songs or something. I don't even really know. There was absolutely no plan at all. I just had this hopeless optimism and it just really didn't make any sense. And I'm just really lucky that I was able to cling on to that beginning motivation that eventually led me to naturally discover this path right here. For a lot of creatives, just expecting to make money off of their creativity somehow with no actionable plan can actually be super damaging. It can make you feel super unmotivated, uninspired, and eventually lead to the creative's worst nightmare, which is just completely quitting entirely. And a minute or two ago, I touched on the fact that work for hire sucks because you lose time. And I also said earlier that when you're selling digital products, you can even make money without doing any work. And you probably heard that and you were like, how is that even possible, right? And I don't blame you, so let me explain. Basically, when we create a digital product and promote it online via social media, what we're doing is we're creating an evergreen asset. And that's basically just a fancy term for something that is always relevant, always being viewed, and in the end, always being purchased, which is literally a dream come true for a creative person. And now this really works. Let me just show you some proof. So this right here is my main creative social media page where I make educational music-based content and sell digital products to help musicians get better at making music. At my peak, I was generating $2,000 to $4,000 a month, and that was when I barely knew any of the tools that I'll be showing you in today's video. And like, really just take a look at this, right? Like, I'm not famous at all. I have 13.8 thousand subscribers when I took the screenshot. When I was making $2,000 to $4,000 a month consistently, I had maybe 6,000 subscribers or less. I'm also not an expert and I'm not a professional at my creative skill whatsoever. And I'm still making enough money to continue supporting myself and my creative endeavors. If we go down here, I'll show you my client and good friend, Shark. When I first started working with him, he was maybe making $300 a month at best. And that's really honestly not that bad considering that he didn't really know what he was doing at the time. And I hopped on one single consultation call with him to give him some of my advice and a game plan. And within 1 year, he was able to do a complete 180, over 10x his profit, and move out of his parents' house and into an apartment in Atlanta, Georgia. Shark is a hip hop producer, and Atlanta, Georgia is basically the hip hop capital of the world. So this is an insane accomplishment. And this is what I mean when I tell you how valuable digital products are. Shark gets to do what he loves every single day as his job. And seriously, like I said, you don't have to be famous. Look at his subscriber count, 6.8 thousand subscribers, and he's making this much money. Since working with him, he has obviously increased in subs. He is approaching the 10,000 subscriber mark, which I'm super proud of. But seriously, you could see his videos get 5,000 views, 2,000 views, 900, 3,000 views. You just don't have to be famous for this to work. Honestly, it might even be better if you're not. And genuinely, Shark's path is so bright. I could really see him pushing 10K a month or above in the year 2025. And this is exactly what you can do too. And the last testimonial that I want to show you is my client and good friend Stinger Beats. When I first started working with him, he was really struggling to make money off of his creative endeavors. And I hopped on a call with him during the Black Friday season. And not only did I help him prepare a lot in general, but I also helped him prepare for a time of year where money literally falls into people's lap, whether you are a business owner, a creative, or anything like that. And lo and behold, within 1 month, he saw a 146% increase in total sales. Insane. Within 2 months of working with me, he also saw an increase of 2,000 subscribers since 2025 started, which is literally just like 1 month. And since I took this screenshot where he had 17,000 subscribers, he is already approaching 20,000 subscribers, and he was able to quit his full-time job to pursue music and creativity full time. Stinger is just another example of how possible it is for literally anybody with a creative talent to make a living doing what they love. All right, so now it's time for some action plans. The first step to this journey is going to be creating your social media pages. Now, if you hear this and you're like, I don't really want to post on social media, that's not for me, then you can feel free to just click off this video because this is not for you. This video is for people who are willing to do whatever it takes to make a living pursuing their creative endeavors. And if I'm going to be honest, the word whatever it takes is way too intense because the work that goes into this is a fraction of the work and effort that would go into doing something that does not truly represent who you are as a person. But anyways, when you're making your social media pages, you want to make sure it's something true to you. My recommendation would be to get onto 3 platforms, which is YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And if you could take advantage of both long form content and short form content over here, you are going to make a money printing machine. So for social media, I personally think the best route is to just make it your government name or something adjacent to that. As you can see, my name is Zach or Zach Hall, so I just went with by Zach Creates. I feel like that encapsulates myself and my goal here on this account, pretty well. You can also create some sort of stage name. So as I showed you before, 2 of my clients were named A Shark and Stinger Beats. As long as it's kind of just like a person-based name or alias, that's totally fine. And the one thing that I want to make sure that you pay attention to is making sure that all of your social media pages have the exact same profile picture and handle. This is a mistake that could easily be created by any creative person, but it's very hard to grow across all 3 social media platforms if you have 3 different usernames. This is a mistake that I currently am making with my personal creative account, the music-based production account that I showed you earlier. All 3 of my platforms have different names because unfortunately they've all been taken, but it can really help if you have the same usernames and profile pictures so people could recognize you. And I also want you to avoid one huge mistake, and that is trying to appear as if you are like a company or have some company name, right? A lot of people make the mistake of thinking, oh, if I have some company name and, make myself appear way more professional, then people are going to want to buy from me. This is a very easy misunderstanding, but it is actually the complete opposite. In 2025, people want to feel a connection to a person that they're following. When you create a company name or something that you kind of hide behind and don't present your true self, all you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot and creating a disconnect with potential supporters and buyers. A good example of this is a producer who goes by the name Prod by Ocean. He used to have a website called Tsunami Sounds or TsunamiRecords.com or something like that, and he was having a really hard time driving sales. And after simply rechanging his website from some different brand alias.com to just prodbyocean.com, he saw an over 50% increase in revenue just in the next month. So basically, in summary, go ahead, create your social media pages, make sure that it is true to yourself or whatever alias you want to have online, and make sure that you are very personable, very human-like. You do not want to present like a brand. That is not going to help you in the long run or in the short run, or honestly at all. And now we can move on to the next step, which is going to be creating a Shopify. Shopify is amazing. It's a website building platform that lets you host products, sell products, design websites, all without any code at all. all, and I literally would not use any other platform to sell digital products ever. Honestly, it is just the best in the game. Setting up a Shopify store is super simple, and I'm not going to get into it too much in this specific video because the Shopify company themselves has plenty of guides. And like I said, it's all laid out for you. So even if you don't really follow the guides, there's a very good chance that you could just end up making your store without any guides. It's really that easy. But the two main things I do want to tell you about Shopify is the two essential apps to download. So the first one is going to be absolutely essential. It's called Digital Downloads. It is a 100% free app that lets you link digital files like PDFs, zip files, or anything like that to your products, and it streamlines the entire process so you don't have to do any work to deliver it to your customers. And the next app is going to be an app called GemPages, which is a more advanced page builder within Shopify. It's going to let you make insane, crazy product pages for your actual digital products to make them sell way better. Now, GemPages is semi-optional, but I would highly recommend it, and I absolutely swear by it. I basically use Shopify to host my website, my products, and a homepage. I use the Digital Downloads app to deliver my products to my customers, and then I use GemPages to make more advanced landing pages to showcase things like videos, testimonials, and anything that's inside the product in a more sleek premium packaging. And just to give you an example, the page that you're watching this video on right now is hosted on GemPages. So I think that says a lot. A lot of people are super weird and gatekeepy about apps on Shopify, how to use Shopify and everything like that. And I honestly just don't believe in that. So I wanted to give you guys 2 free gems for this video. And now that you have your social media and your Shopify, it's time to actually create a digital product, right? And this is what creatives have the hardest time doing because it doesn't feel as natural to a creative to actually make a product or run a business as it does to just, pursue your creative endeavors, whether that's drawing, video editing, tattooing. It really doesn't matter what it is. So what I'm going to do is make sure to break it down in a way that's very easy for you to understand. So the first thing that you need to understand is, why do people buy things, right? The why is super important to understand, and it's a very simple answer: because it helps them. Right? Every single thing in history that is bought for a reason, and that reason is because it helps them. Even something like food, right? One of the food or water, one of the most basic human necessities, it's bought because it is helping you, and it is used as a vehicle to get to where you want to be. You buy water because you're thirsty and you want to solve the problem of thirst. You buy food because you're hungry and you want to solve the problem of being hungry, or solve the problem of wanting a tasty food item or treat. So when you're making any type of product, you always want to start it with the basis of how can this product help somebody. This is the root of all products. And this is where you can start to easily come up with product ideas, because if you are somebody with a creative talent, you could easily start thinking of vehicles that you could create to help people go from not having a creative talent to excelling at a creative talent, just like you do. The next thing that you want to do is focus on the value of your product. Now, what is value, right? That's like a question that's not easily interpreted by a creative. So this is value. There's a 4-part equation for value. You want to enhance the dream outcome, you want to enhance the perceived likelihood of achievement, and you want to reduce the time delay and reduce the effort and sacrifice. If you can increase the top 2 and decrease the top 2, your value is going to skyrocket. These are the 4 pillars that value is dependent on. Now, this might still not click to you. This still might be a little bit confusing and overwhelming. So let's go ahead and break this down in the context of 3 different creative niches to show you how this can work. So starting off with a creative niche of music, let's get a product idea of a guitar loop kit, right? So basically a loop kit is when a producer records melodies and then sells them to other producers. This specific example is a guitar loop kit, which is advantageous for the seller because not everyone knows how to play a guitar and not everybody owns a guitar. So it solves the problem of people not having access to that. As you can see right here, people not owning a guitar. You could also change that to be people owning a guitar but not having the time or effort to actually excel at using a guitar. It also solves the problem of time because you don't have to spend time creating original guitar melodies, learning the guitar, all of that stuff. You can just load these melodies into your project, add drums to them, and have a complete instrumentation just like that. Maybe the person who is buying this product only knows how to do drums and they want to be able to make their beats faster. This can easily finish 50% of your beats just like like that. And then the last part right here is going to be creativity. So, let's say these two things are not even a problem. The person buying this product might just have a hard time making melodies. Maybe they do know how to play the guitar and maybe they don't need the extra time, but they aren't good at making their own guitar melodies. They only like playing to other people's music or something like that. This is another way to solve somebody's problem. You can instantly spark creativity. And speaking from experience as somebody who can make my own guitar melodies and I know how to do like most styles, I still buy guitar loop kits. Sometimes I just want that instant boost of creativity. Sometimes I want to be able to harness somebody else's creative talent and put my own creative spin on it. So here is how value is created with this specific product, right? We have a dream outcome, which is making beats with a guitar, which we have achieved by giving them guitar loops. We have a perceived likelihood of achievement, which is essentially guaranteed. And the reason for that is because we are just providing them with guitar loops to create guitar-based beats. We have a time delay, which is almost nothing, and the reason for that is because literally the melodies are completely finished for you. All you have to do is drag an MP3 file into your project, completely done for you, and then the amount of effort, again, is almost nothing. When it comes to specifically making the guitar loops, you have no effort, they're done for you. When it comes to making a finished beat, the amount of effort is greatly reduced because you don't have to worry about the melody, you only have to worry about the drums. So hopefully this is starting to click for you, but if it's not, do not worry. I have two more examples with you in two different creative niches. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is an editing transition pack. So if you're a video editor, you can go ahead and make transition packs or asset packs for whatever digital program that you use specifically. Let's say it's the smooth transitions pack, like this example right here that I pulled off of Google, where you can just drag and drop these presets into your file and easily create these super cool smooth transitions. The problems that you're solving is one, the difficulty of making transitions. If you're completely new to an editing program and you want to do editing that's heavily transition based, but it's super confusing for you, you can buy a transition pack and literally drag and drop them onto your project file and have them completely done. And then again, we have time and creativity. So time wise, you can literally drag and drop these and have transitions done for you. So even if you're a professional and you know how to make crazy good transitions, you might just not want to spend the time making each transition on your own. I'm going to use myself as an example. As a full-time creative who edits his own videos, I don't have time to create all of my own transitions, all of my own flashes, all of my own whatever, tool that I'm using within a video editing program. So I buy a lot of video editing transition packs. I buy a lot of LUTs. I buy a ton of just video editing assets because they save me time. I could do them myself, but I don't want to, and I don't have a need to do that because I'm video editing for the purpose of my business. And then again, creativity. Let's say you have all the time in the world and you know how to make transitions. Maybe you just want to try somebody else's transitions out. It's the exact same thing as the guitar loop kits, where I am a creative musician and sometimes I like to just try other people's melody loops out. Maybe you're a video editor and you just want to try other people's editing packs out. Now, once again, value created, dream outcome, making cool transitions, boom, guaranteed. We did them for you. You can drag and drop them into your project file. Perceived likelihood of achievement is guaranteed. They're done for you. You just drag and drop them into your project file. The time delay is almost nothing. You just drag and drop them into your project file. And the amount of effort is almost nothing. You just drag and drop them into your project file, right? And now we have one final example, which is a more graphic design based example. So this is going to be the hand-drawn skull image pack. So let's say you are a graphic designer and you specialize in like a dark hand-drawn aesthetic, or maybe more of like an American traditional like cartoony style, something that's very original to you and something that's not super simply done because you have a whole process of hand drawing things, scanning them, importing them into your graphic design project file, stuff like that. You can make a pack of these drawings that people can use as assets for their graphic design. And again, this solves very similar problems. This solves the problem of people not being able to hand draw skulls. Even if they can't do it in your specific style. Maybe they don't have a photo printer to scan the drawings into their actual computer, all of these sort of things. Or maybe they could do that and they don't have the time. Again, using myself as a reference, I make my own product images. So all of my products have, a cool presentable picture, and I can do graphic design, but I'm not a pro, so I buy digital assets. I buy overlays, I buy simulators, I buy all of those things so that I could save myself time. And then again, creativity. I think anybody watching this who is a graphic designer knows that even as a professional or very talented graphic designer, you are still using other people's digital assets because it's just fun. It boosts your creativity, and it helps you get that spark that you need. So again, for the last time, value created. The dream outcome is making designs with handwritten skulls. You're already providing that for somebody. Perceived likelihood of achievement is guaranteed because all you have to do is drag and drop it into your project file. Time delay is almost nothing because all you have to do is download the files and drag and drop them into your project. And the amount of effort is basically nothing because they are already pre-drawn for you. So hopefully breaking down these 3 different styles of products can kind of show you the thought process of how to make a valuable product that sells. They all follow the same basic principles and can be reused for literally any creative niche. So now that we have that finished, we have the final step of this training video, which is going to be creating content to promote your products. So this is honestly where a lot of the fun begins, in my opinion. Building your personal brand is not what most people think. You already are yourself. You're unique. There's nobody else like you. That is your personal brand. And you could use that to your advantage to make a connection that people love. Like I went over earlier in the creating your social media page section, you're not a company. A personal brand is you. Everything that is unique to you is your personal brand, right? You don't have to try to be like a Nike or a Walmart or a Gucci or anything like that, right? And the key to making this content is by helping others by providing value. And you could do this through entertainment, inspiration, or education. And to start driving sales, what we are going to do is use our products to achieve this goal. We'll use our products to entertain. We'll use our products to inspire, or what I think is the most value is using our products to educate. If somebody learns how to do something and your product is the tool to accomplish it, this is the key to content that sells. For example, if you're an artist who draws on Procreate, you can make tutorials on how to do specific styles of drawings using your brush packs. If you're a producer who makes a specific style of music like soul samples, you can use your sample packs to create specific styles of beats using your product. If you are a video editor, maybe you edit music videos, you could show how to do specific popular music video effects using your editing assets. This is the key to making content that sells your product for you. You want to use your content as a vessel to connect with your audience and show them how they can reach their end goal with your product. And a big part of driving sales is reducing buyers' doubt. A lot of people say that you are more likely to drive a sale if you could reduce their doubt instead of convincing them why the product is good. And when you are using your products to achieve these specific goals, you are literally eliminating the buyer's doubt just by making your content, right? You are breaking down any wall of doubt that could ever possibly be created. Now, this isn't going to be the focus of the video, but I do just want to tell you, if you are making content, a great paid program to edit it is going to be Premiere Pro, and then 2 great free editing resources are going to be CapCut and DaVinci Resolve. I just wanted to give you guys these 2 resources because if all of this made sense to you, but now the actual content creation part doesn't make sense to you, I think that Premiere Pro is the best paid program, and then CapCut and DaVinci Resolve are 2 amazing free editing programs. I personally still use CapCut to edit a lot of my videos, or if I want to do a specific editing style, CapCut makes things so easy and seamless, and I've heard fantastic things about DaVinci Resolve. In the modern era that we are in the internet, you do not have to worry so much anymore about like all these crazy skills and having access to certain tools. There's basically going to be a free alternative for everything, and you do not need to make perfect content. You just need to get yourself out there and you are good. So what I basically went over was the art of creating targeted content. You do not want to worry about being famous. In fact, being famous might actually just shoot you in the foot because you might be attracting the wrong people. Targeted content means making content that exists solely to help the kind of person that you want to sell to. And the more specific you can get, the better. So if you are a graphic designer, you could pick what program you use, what style you edit in, and then what the end product is. So you could be like a grunge style graphic designer in Photoshop. You can make content for only those people. And even if you're only getting like a couple thousand views versus tens or hundreds of thousands of views, it doesn't matter because the quality of the people watching those videos is way higher. You're way more likely to get comments, likes, all of that type of stuff. And you're also far more likely to get money. I know plenty of creatives who have under 50,000 subscribers who are making way more money than some content creators that you might know with millions of followers. I'm not exaggerating about that. And this leads us to the final step of this training, which is the content funnel. This is basically a foolproof way to guarantee that you get the audience that you want that generates you sales. A lot of people get scared starting from nothing on social media, and building an audience can be hard, but with the tools and platforms that we have nowadays, it is not nearly as hard. So right here, you can see the first step before even entering the funnel is consistency. So nothing here is really going to work if you can't continually repeat the process over and over again. Consistently showing up is going to be more valuable of a tool than almost anything when it comes to posting on social media. And consistency, in my opinion, should be however much you can execute. And I think you should definitely push yourself to do more, but not burn yourself out. You want to avoid the mistake of, posting maybe like 7 times a week and then going a whole month without posting. If you could only post one video a week consistently for a year, that will be a lot better than posting one video every day for a month and then completely disappearing. So make sure that whatever you're doing, you're focusing on the consistency. Now, the first real step of the content funnel is short form content with TikTok and Instagram. And the amazing thing about TikTok and Instagram that separates it from other platforms is its unique algorithm. So it basically pushes your content out to other people, unlike YouTube, which makes things a little bit harder. So the idea is to use short form content as a vessel to entertain and educate like usual, but also use it to put yourself in front of the eyes of new people. After you get the eyes from short form content, you'll start to get the follows, you'll start to get the likes. You want to try your best to move all of these people to long form content via YouTube. YouTube is an absolute gem, and I really wouldn't even recommend pursuing e-commerce without it. The bond that you end up forming with your supporters through long form content is unlike any other, which is why I simply use short form as a sort of lead based tool to lead people into my long form content, because that is where you want most people to be. YouTube audiences are more supportive, more loyal, and in turn result in more sales. And that leads us to the final step of the sales funnel, which is your website, the Shopify store that you set up. Every video that you post on YouTube should have a link to your product or website. You want to make it as easy as possible for people to find and buy your product. So you have to make sure that your long form content is formulated in a way that drives people to your website, which I went over earlier, doing something like using our product as a vehicle to achieve the end goal of the YouTube video that you're creating or short form video that you're creating, and then being like, yo, if you guys want to buy this product, check it out on my website, link in description. That is basically the content funnel. And before we move on and conclude this video, I do just want to say one thing, which is basically, even though I've created this in a sort of chronological order where it starts with short form, moves to long form, and then moves to your website, it doesn't have to be like that. You can use all platforms as a way to drive people to your website. You can use YouTube to promote your Instagram or TikTok. And just because short form has less engaged followers does not mean that you cannot make really good money off of it. But this is just, in my opinion, the best way to kind of view content in like the grand scheme of things, I guess. And yeah, that is the video and free training that I came up with for you guys. I know this might be a lot of information, but hopefully you guys were taking notes. If you weren't, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. But no, really, I just wanted to quickly summarize this entire video for you so you can kind of help contextualize all the information that you just engaged with. I don't know the right word. So step 1, you want to create social media. You want to get on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. You want to make sure all of your social media platforms have the same handle, the same profile pictures, and you want to present yourself as a human being and not a brand. Then you want to get set up with a Shopify page, design a basic store, and use it to host and sell your products with the Digital Downloads app. Then you are going to make a value-driven product utilizing your creative talents, and make sure that your primary goal in making the product and marketing it is helping solve someone's problem. And then lastly, you are going to use the content funnel consistently to grow and sell. Use short form content to gain an audience, use long form content to keep and nurture an audience, and drive people to your website and watch the sales roll in. In simple terms, this right here is literally all you need to make money online. Now, obviously, it isn't a super simple concept to explain, which is why I went into such extensive detail in this long form training video. And if I had more time, I would go further in depth on each of these specific steps, but I'm not going to be posting a 10+ hour long video on YouTube, which is why I made Creative Marketing Mastery. CMM is a one-stop shop for creative people with a talent or skill who want to make a living doing what they love instead of working a 9-to-5. Inside of CMM, you're going to find a lot of super dope stuff. So let me just go ahead and quickly break it down for you. To start, you get my entire framework that I've used to monetize my own business as well as several other creatives' businesses. Basically, this entire video that you watched on steroids. It has over 5 hours of super exclusive in-detail content. It walks you through everything in a start to finish, step-by-step, easy to understand way. And it even comes with worksheets and action items so you can follow along with me to practice all the things that I teach you and really hone in on everything and make sure that you execute it properly. This framework that I've laid out is something that I can confidently give to any talented creative and have them making a living within 6 months to a year, guaranteed, as long as they apply themselves. You also get access to the CMM community, which is a community of like-minded creatives just like you. Honestly, I think this is one of the best offers inside of CMM. A lot of creatives have a hard time progressing to new milestones because they're surrounded by people who don't have the same interests and skills as they do, people who don't match their energy or have the same goals as them. So the CMM community is an immediate way to solve that problem. And on top of that, I'm also in the chat every single day, so you can reach out to me personally about any questions you have that you want to get answered, or you can just chat with me whenever I'm in there. And then I think my favorite part about the community might be the weekly group calls. Basically, every single week, all of the members in the group get to meet with me virtually and ask me any questions they want. And you could do this directly to me live, so you can get personalized, tailored advice to your specific creative endeavor every single week. I've helped almost all of my clients succeed over the phone, and having verbal communication is always going to be more valuable than doing something over text. So these weekly group calls are a game changer. And just to make it even more worth it, I host monthly giveaways where every single month, one member gets one free 1 hour one-on-one call with me every single month. That was a lot of ones, but it's pretty cool. Now, most lame internet gurus who have a crazy offer like this would try to throw numbers at you like $2,000 to $10,000 because of the amount of time and money invested into it. But honestly, that just doesn't really sit right with me. So I'm only going to be charging $40 a month for everything. Now, you could also grab a 6-month or 12-month plan that will give you another huge discount. And if you dedicate yourself to a longer amount of time, you are far more likely to see more success. But I do want to warn you of something, right? As crazy of an offer as this might seem, I want to make it better. I want to add more course content. I want to add more frequent calls. And as I do all of this, over time, the community is going to grow. So as the value of the community increases, so will the price. Now, what that means is right now, the moment that you're watching this video is the cheapest price that you will ever have to join a community of people just like you, to join me and to change your life, pursuing a future where you get to do what you love every single day for the rest of your life. The creator economy is estimated to double in value by the year 2030. The opportunities have never been more bountiful for creatives like you or me. So if you want to get started, just click the first link in the description and let's do this.